Alright guys, welcome back to another episode of Crossing Swords. I'm Andrew.
And I'm still Jake, all this time, all this person.
Still Jake. Alright, this week we're doing a bit of a different one. We want to talk about convenience services and the obsession in society now of everything being convenient.
And the lack of patience.
Yes.
As a result of it.
Yeah.
That'll come. So, where to start? It would be fantastic if we could order something now and have it by the end.
Yeah.
And interestingly though, we can.
Yeah.
Food.
Yeah.
We can order a number of food services and have them here by the end of the podcast.
Oh god, yeah.
And let's face it, we're both fat enough that we could.
And I do. And how do you know I haven't while you was just having a pee?
No, do you ever...
Quickly popped off a KFC order.
Have you ever heard the crunching at the end of the podcast? That's what it is.
Yeah, we're eating.
That's what it is, we're just chowing down.
Sometimes I can't wait for the end of the podcast to start eating during it.
But some stuff makes sense. There's some stuff that you can get on like Amazon Prime. We'll get to the services. But there's some stuff you can get that's like, for example, I ordered a pair of, for work I need to wear steel toe cap shoes.
Yeah.
Mine had a big hole in the front that went straight through the steel toe cap. Yeah, really, really helpful. I ordered a new pair, they came the next day. That's like good, that's really convenient. Because shops don't always necessarily run on the same times that I do. And also, and after I think we'll get into this, but I also have a bit of a weird shopping anxiety. Whenever I shop alone, I'm fine going out, but actually purchasing the item, I get a little, I have to work up to it a little bit.
Depends on the item.
It's really, okay, yeah, fair enough, I should stop buying lingerie, but...
No, you shouldn't.
No, I shouldn't. Condoms people get weird about as well.
Yeah, I remember the first time I bought a pack of condoms, it got really weird, and some people still get weird about it. Like,
I got so weird.
I had a guy that came up to me the other day. Now this was an older guy, I would say he was probably about double my age, and I was on my knees, which makes this even worse. And I was filling a shelf, and he actually leant down and whispered.
Is that a euphemism, by the way, filling a shelf?
No, it actually isn't. And he leant down and whispered in my ear, "Here, mate, where'd you keep the Johnnies?" and I was like...
That is a hell of a proposition.
And I looked to my left, and all I saw was cock. Do you know what I mean? Like, there was crotch.
Did you have to assess what size he might have needed?
No, I just said to him, "They're behind the till, mate." And that was it. But they do get weird about it. I remember the first time I bought condoms, it was actually at Gatwick Airport. And I knew I wasn't going to get laid on this holiday, but I thought, you never
know, you've got to take the chance.
In case a miracle happens.
Absolutely.
So I go into Boots, and there's two women behind the till.
But it's always... Aren't they always attractive women? Whatever gender you're attracted to, aren't they always an attractive version of that?
Yeah. One of the women was smoking hot, and the other was a fugly old lady. So we know who I wanted.
Absolutely know who you wanted.
Yeah, I wanted the fugly old lady. Obviously didn't get that.
No.
Ended up with a smoking hot woman behind the till. But how I reacted in the moment I'm quite proud of, because it's one of my best moments. She asked me if I wanted a bag, and I said no, she's not that ugly. But she's deadpan, no reaction, which was disappointing, but I was happy with myself.
It's a good joke. I think you should be proud of yourself. No, but I'll be honest. I suppose there's no point being coy about this, given how open we will be in coming weeks. I've ordered condoms off the internet. I think it's so much more convenient, and you can get them like I ordered them off Amazon. They just turn up in like a bag. There's like fucking 50 of them. Now, am I ever going to use 50 condoms? Like, fuck no, look at me. God no, they could last me a lifetime. But I've used a couple. Not to brag, not to kiss and tell.
Fuck me too, eh?
Yeah, well no, we bareback it. That's different.
Yeah, true.
No, but like, it just saves a lot of the awkwardness of having to buy some awkward stuff.
Yeah.
But it's not just purchases, it's not just stuff that you can get online. So, there are some services. Now, I think we should walk through them one by one, some of the services that you found, because again, research has been done.
Yeah, shockingly.
And I think you should just go through them one by one, and let's discuss them. Let's discuss how much we really need them, and what that situation is like without them.
Right, well, one is a bit mad, it's only for but you can do goat rental.
Goat rental?
Yeah.
It's hot.
So if you have a garden...
What situation would you be where you might need a goat?
Well, this is the thing. Luckily, when I was researching the places I researched, they gave you an explanation as to what the uses commonly are for.
Hang on, wait. I'm just to interrupt her for a second. So, you don't just chance upon a goat rental place. You would have had to have sought that out. And if you're on the website, you've not just been you've not stumbled across it, have you, by accident? You've sought out goat rental services. So surely you know what you need the goat for. Why are they trying to sell it to you? And be like, have you ever thought about owning a goat?
When I read the description of what the goat rental was for, I thought, well, actually, that's fairly handy. If you had basically what the goat rental is for. It's such a really sentence I never thought I'd say. Is the way they described it was for if you have a spacious property that you don't have time to maintain the grass, that you rent, depending on the size, 1 to X many of goats.
How many goats do you get? What's the limit on that?
It didn't say.
Oh man, I'd love to know. All their goats? Could you get all their goats and just?
Well, I don't know how many goats they've got.
Could you turn it into a petting zoo? Would they allow that?
I doubt it, because you're making money off their product, aren't you?
Yeah,
it was strictly, from the sounds of things, for them to maintain your lawn, essentially, or your garden, to eat your grass.
Brilliant. So the world without goat rental is you have to buy a lawnmower and mow your grass.
I'd imagine renting the goat's probably going to be more expensive than buying a lawnmower, but it's the convenience of not having to do anything.
Eco-friendly though, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
#green. Go on, what next?
The next one was hangover doctors.
Yeah, the hangover doctors. Now, this is a thing we're both aware of. We've both seen this, and you can get hangover stations in Vegas. Have them. They basically just give you a little IV drip, kind of rehydrate you.
Yeah, give you vitamins, all that sort of stuff,
and
get you back on a level footing again.
Do you think though that you have to go to medical school and specialise in hangovers to be a hangover doctor?
I bet there's a course, not like uni or college, but I reckon.
Well, hold on. I mean, imagine and also when you get your hangover doctor sort of comes to you, what do you do? What do they do if you ask to see their credentials, their qualifications?
I don't know, mate.
They don't have any. Well, I'm making assumptions. They could be highly trained medical experts.
I mean, my first knowledge of hangover doctors was Samir Nasri in Vegas, and he posted a picture which ended up getting him banned from football for, I think it was nearly 12 months, because he used banned substances in that.
Who would have known you couldn't trust something put in your body by someone you tried over the internet?
But then the real kicker was that he got found out by his missus, who had access to another device that had all his information on. He'd fucked the woman that had come to cure his hangover.
She was attractive though.
Yeah, she was.
I'm not justifying it or condoning it, but I think his wife should be a little more understanding. Yeah, really.
But a hangover doctor, personally, I think people have just been a bit of a little bitch.
But yeah. So what's the alternative? Again, is you. I mean,
deal with the hangover.
Just
I mean, for me, whenever I've had a really bad hangover, I try and I hydrate with a lot of water. I mean, normally when I get in from a night out, I drink at least 1 litre of water before I go to bed, just to.
See, when I get in after a night out, I throw up when I get home. I force myself to throw up because it's an unpleasant experience, and I know once I've reached a certain level of inebriation, I'm going to be throwing up, and I want it to be now, while I'm still drunk enough to get over it, than in the morning when I've got the headache and the dehydration.
So I've never had that problem.
But so what? You hire them and they come to you.
Yeah, or you go to them.
I mean, if you're hungover.
Yeah. To be fair, this service is mainly being used by people who have the money to pay for that sort of service.
Yeah, and I think it's a more American service.
Oh yeah, I've not really heard much of it in this country. Alright, the next one I found on the internet, but also my partner has heard about it in this country, is professional potty training for your kids.
Brilliant.
When I heard it, I was shocked but not surprised at the same time, because people are just so lazy now. I mean, it is a genuine accepted part of a childcare professional's work
to be able
to potty train a child.
With the childcare thing, I think it perhaps. I would say maybe you could train him in it because you're continuing the training. It doesn't happen overnight. The parents don't potty train him and go, there you go, they're ready.
It's getting more and more common. Dependent on the reason it's getting put more on the nursery level and down than the workers is because parents aren't potty training their children at all. I mean, my partner has said she's known parents that drop their kids off at her nursery that she'll go through the effort of potty training them during the day and putting time into it, but they get home and they just throw a nappy on the kid and don't try at all. And you're ending up with kids going to junior school that aren't trained to use a toilet.
This is where it gets a little bit, I don't know, preachy and judgy. And for me, when you become a parent, if you decide I'm having this child, whether it's through religious beliefs or personal beliefs that you don't believe in abortion, or whether it's because you want the child, but once you accept that you're not aborting and you're having the child, there's certain responsibility that you have to accept, and the whole package of it. And one of those things is potty training, is toilet training. You have to be able to.
But also, I think people are worrying a little bit too much about it. Like I said to my partner, have you ever met a fully grown adult that isn't toilet trained? Like, you learn. Do you know what I mean?
This is the thing. I think when you become a parent, you do worry. You think, my God, like how am I going to teach them how to walk?
I can actually remember how my parents toilet trained myself.
Oh, that was very recent though. That's not very fair.
What they used to do when they went to the bathroom, they would keep the potty next to the toilet, and
a little association.
Because I used to follow them into the bathroom.
Of course, so then you're a fucking pervert. You're a weirdo.
I would see my parents using a toilet, and I'd see the potty there, and by association, you just did it, and it's a very natural way to do it. So I don't really get why people worry. I think it's going to happen. All right, moving on. Invisible Boyfriend app.
Now this is a great one, and
I didn't quite understand it at first, but basically
it's so weird.
It seems to be mainly for women. I'm sure there's one girlfriend apps as well, but obviously a lot of women, particularly as they're getting older, get pressured.
Men can't have boyfriends.
Well, of course they do. Of course they do.
Just saying, bro.
But basically, you would pay this app company, give them all your details in terms of like your Facebook, your Twitter, your Insta, and whatever, and they will insert a fake boyfriend into your internet life, so that anyone from the outside, you could say, I have a boyfriend. They'll check your social media and see all this litany of evidence, like photos and whatever, and posts and likes, and to show that you're...
Does that not create a really awkward situation with the people that do know you in real life, that are friends with you on Facebook, where you have to do that thing of, how come we've never met the boyfriend? And you have to keep doing that thing of like, oh no, you wouldn't know him. He goes to a different school. He's, he works in another country. It's really complicated.
Yeah, but I think this is more for the people that perhaps don't have a lot of friends that they actually see an awful lot, and it's probably just
people you work with though. I'm not friends with Facebook with anyone that I work with, mostly because I know that if I ever do some questionable shit, I don't want them finding out about it.
Fair enough.
But I think, again, like, the alternative is just honesty. Is the alternative there, isn't it?
Yeah.
Or finding another lonely son of a bitch and saying, do you want to just hook up and be...
But it is difficult to meet people, as we've discussed in a previous podcast. Yeah. But I think what this sort of thing is more aimed at from the description is for women that are perhaps more career driven, and their family are pressuring them to meet someone and to get them off their back.
That's an interesting aspect. That's an interesting side.
It's to remove the pressure from the situation.
That's really interesting. I think that's a...
So actually, I'm not 100%. I think it's a bit sad.
So again, the alternative, though, in that particular situation is to actually have a conversation and say, it's my fucking life.
Yeah, leave me alone.
Deal with it.
Yeah. Alright, next one, Rent-A-Mum. Their description of their product was that basically you could... Essentially, it was like having a maid come round. They described it to say like you were a student and you were moving to uni and you needed someone to help you move and clean and tidy and all that stuff.
Now, I think I've seen videos of this. Do they end up fucking?
No.
Then I have not seen videos of this. I've seen videos with a very similar premise.
Yes. But yeah, basically it's to have a maid, but it's called Rent-A-Mum.
Because a mum's nicer than maid. It's
that's quite actually offensive, really.
So now here's where we can really dive into it. So the alternative is you learn to look after yourself.
Yeah.
And given that it seems to be mostly aimed at uni and college students, that's a big part of the reason that people do live out at uni and college.
Is to go out on their own.
Is to learn how to take care of themselves. Yeah. And there's a learning curve. The first couple of years are a lot of pot noodles and fucking dirty laundry and dishes and stuff.
Yeah.
But you find yourself, you know, and even if it doesn't seem like you've learned a lot, when you go and set up house on your own later on, you actually are able to bring a lot to the table because of that time. So that's a really sad thing. I think that's probably the first thing on the list that I would say that you're really taking away a life experience, and a necessary life experience, by introducing this aspect of convenience. I don't know what your take on that is.
Completely agree. Right, the next one I'm quite happy to not spend a lot of time on. It's personal paparazzi, basically to pay people to come around and pretend as if you're famous, take loads of pictures, throw it all over Instagram and social media and whatever.
Yeah, well no, because that's what I was going to say. So what happens with the photos?
They post them.
They post them.
Yeah.
Where though? Like, would you not know that they're a fake account?
Well, no, I suppose. That I don't know.
I mean, they post them to an account, and you go, "Oh look, some pictures of me," and they're like, "Yeah, on the fake paparazzi website." That's where it's ended up. So we absolutely know you paid yourself.
It's a bit of a pathetic one, really, isn't it?
It is unbelievably pathetic. The only way you could do that is if you had a partner, and they were shit at taking photographs, and you wanted to get a really good Insta snap.
Yeah, but then just hire a photographer.
Yeah, but this is probably cheaper.
I doubt it.
I don't know, photographers are expensive.
Yeah, true. Alright, the next one is meat subscription boxes.
Again, as fat people, something we're very well versed in.
Well, no, I've never ordered a meat subscription box.
No, nor have I, to be honest, but I've stolen a few.
But, I don't know, when I read that one, I was a bit like, who can't go out and...
Down to the supermarket and buy some meat.
Yeah.
Or butchers. Butchers still exist.
Plus, I want to see the meat I'm buying.
Yeah, this is the thing with something like that. I'm with you. I want to see that it's a good cut. I don't just want to see it turn up. When you go to the butchers, even in your supermarket, but the butcher's section, you look at the meat and you can say to them, "I want that bit. I want that bit. Cut me off another bit."
I remember when I was younger, my mum asked me to go get some ham. She saw me pick up the first one in the front, and I nearly had something locked in my head. She was like, "I don't care if it's only a pound ham. You look for the leanest bit of ham." So I couldn't get on board with some meat subscription boxes. And also, is it really needed?
Absolutely not needed.
No.
What are you getting in that you can't get from when you?
And they're probably going to charge you more for the meat than you would pay it to. Meat isn't expensive now.
Depends what kind of meat. There's still some very expensive meat on the market.
Well, there is, but most of the time, supermarkets now, particularly, and I'll give you a bit of inside knowledge here because I work in a convenience store. A lot of convenience stores no longer display their joints of meat and steaks and things like that because it gets stolen. So what you might find is at certain times of the day, they'll normally leave it to the end of the day because the staff might get first dibs first. But you'll find a lot of reduced joints of meat and cuts of meat. I've had fillet steak before for 50p.
Nice.
Not for myself. I buy it for other people because I'm not a big steak myself. But and then my mum used it for a casserole, which someone nearly had a heart attack.
I genuinely I got a bit offended. Yeah. I absolutely got a bit offended.
It was the best casserole we'd ever had.
I fucking bet it was, but it shouldn't have been eaten like that. And your mum should know better.
She actually did. She took pictures of it to send to him.
But what? If when you have your meat, you don't just have. Well, I don't just have meat. You have a side dish. You have something to go with it, which you would go and get at the zoo. I see you're cultured.
Yeah.
Very good, very good. You've joined me. You've noticed my culture and raised your game. I appreciate that, sir. But you'd have to go to the supermarket to get the other stuff, wouldn't you?
Yeah, but you still got to go shopping.
So you've still got to go shopping. You've still got to do your shopping.
The only way I could see it working if they were selling you really high-end, rare pieces of meat at a cut price.
Here's the thing as well, which let's launch from that into another bit of convenience, another service available, is home delivery shopping.
Yeah.
Now, when it first came out, there were some absolutely ridiculous substitutes that people were putting in the box. They're like, "Oh look, we didn't have your Persil non-bio washing up powder, so we've given you some dishwasher tablets instead." And you're like, well, and they were that ridiculous.
Yeah.
It was like, well, that's not even closely the same thing. But that problem hasn't gone away. That still exists. And what you get is you don't get to rifle through and choose the dates. So you get the dates that are just about going off.
Oh no, my partner and her mum do online home delivery shopping, and with Amazon Prime it comes from Morrison's.
It does, yeah.
And the service is actually really good. I quite like it, but quite often there has been loads of times where they've ordered salad or bits for salad, and it's been either that day's date or the next day's date. And it's a bit it's a bit shitty.
And here's the thing, I think, not to throw it back too much, but I think again, if you do have anxiety, or if you're suffering from a really depression or a really low mood and you don't have the energy or the effort to go out, or you just can't face the world, then that service is great, because obviously you need to eat, and it does it, it's fine.
Yeah.
But I think, generally speaking, I think you wouldn't want to get too reliant on it, because you do get to that point where, yeah, you're getting stuff you didn't ask for. Yeah. And you're still charged for it. They don't dock that off. They don't say, "Oh, don't worry about it. Have it on us."
I'm not sure how they work that actually.
They just charge. They just scan it, put it in the basket, and then they charge you for whatever's in the basket at the end of the day, kind of thing. And it's like, I didn't order that.
No, you'll probably find that's in the terms and conditions you've agreed to.
Yeah, no, it absolutely is in the terms and conditions. So
I would just see that as that's one of the potential.
They're legally in the right.
Downfalls.
But it's a downfall of doing it that way. That's the thing.
But I think that's just something you'd have to accept with the.
Yeah, and like I said, I think for those where it works, it really works. But I think for most people that do it, I don't think they need to do it. I think that's where convenience has gone too far for me.
Yeah.
But, okay.
Right, the next one is anger rooms.
Now, these I've heard of. They're great. As a man who has short, angry outbursts, I love these.
See, actually, I'm not a big fan of them. Being someone who suffered from anger issues in my younger years...
That's fair.
I don't believe in using a physical reaction to deal with that anger. I think it's far healthier... to find another outlet that doesn't require you trying to destroy things.
See, I think...
Because, for me, just mentally, if you were paying to go to an anger room, even if it was just on a sporadic basis every other month or something like that, you're associating when you feel like that with destroying things.
No,
so if you can't get to somewhere like that...
I think it's got to be in moderation, because I think every now and then you need a release, you need a physical release. And
yeah, but there's more constructive ways to do it.
It can be very cathartic to do that. As long as you don't do it all the time, like you said, build up an association, I think it can be a really good outlet, because you're, rather than punching a wall or punching...
Yeah, but I'd rather someone...
You're taking it and directing
I'd rather someone went on GTA and was killing prostitutes than...
Yeah, but it doesn't have the same physical... It's exercise. Exercise is good for it. That's why people...
Yeah, well then do exercise. Go to the gym.
But,
pump some weights or go on a running machine. Don't go to a room and destroy the
I agree, there's definitely
chandeliers.
A pitfall to getting dependent on it. And
I get the idea, and maybe just as an experience it could be enjoyable, but not as an actual solution to the problem.
No, and if you're going once a week or once a month, it's not working.
No.
It's not good.
No. Alright, the next one was alibi supply, which sounded quite dodgy.
It sounds so dodgy, and I've used this for a friend, obviously.
But when I...
no, I've never used it.
When I read into it, basically, it's a service that you would tell them what your issue is. So, for example, say you skipped work to go to a concert and you're worried they're going to catch you.
And they provide you with everything to make sure
that doesn't get discovered.
It looks like that happened.
So, like, say you said you would tell them, I used this excuse. They will find you the evidence or make evidence to make it so.
Yeah, if you were like, I was at a funeral, they'd print out some fake... funeral cards,
order
service things, the little leaflets
all
you
that
get,
sort
I can't think what they're called. They'd order some of those and yeah. And
again, I was like, when I read that, I was just sort of like...
It's very deceitful.
Yeah. I mean, I've heard stories of people doing things like that. Like, there was a guy I work with...
We should say as well that I can't be certain, but I'm relatively certain that there is a limit on that. You can't use it for legal purposes. You can't use it to...
Yeah, you couldn't do it for anything illegal.
There are terms and conditions to it.
Yeah, like one of my friends, he told me at work, he told me a story about a friend of his who wanted to take his kids out of school on school term for a holiday, which is obviously you're not allowed to do now.
No.
But he told the school it was for a wedding, and he'd already booked the holiday at this point, and they were like, alright, so where's the wedding? So he had to make up this backstory, but then had to back it up with evidence.
He had to provide.
So he was then creating an invitation, doctored photos of this couple getting married. He had to coach his children.
That would better have been a good holiday.
You know, and I just thought, oh, fuck me, wouldn't it? I get it was cheaper to take them out in term time, but fuck me, that's just a lot of effort.
At one point, you'd be like, fuck it, I'm just taking them out.
Yeah.
Fuck yourselves.
Yeah.
No, it's Yeah, it's a really interesting service that's offered, but it, like on a kind of like serious note, if you found out that anyone had used that, I think it would change my opinion of them.
Because you then start thinking, well, when else have you lied to me?
I'd immediately think less of them. So I'm like, not only are they lying, like we all lie.
But they're going above and beyond.
They're committing to it. They're going really out of their way to make it work. I think it would change. I think that kind of service is like, there's no need for that. What that is a gimmick. That kind of stuff works well in something like Black Mirror, or maybe something not as dramatic as Black Mirror, but a comedy or something. That works well as a sketch to say, look how ridiculous the world is. But as an actual thing, that's a ridiculous service to be offered.
Right. The next one is professional wedding guests.
Yeah, and you can also get professional wedding parties. You can get groomsmen and bridesmaids and stuff.
Well, that's what this is.
Would you want to share? I mean, I get the idea of wanting it to be packed out. Would you want to share your special day with someone who wasn't?
Well, this is the thing for me. Like, one, I'm not a massive fan of big weddings.
Weddings are expensive. Like,
exactly.
Who covers that?
So in this situation, not only would I be paying to have these people there,
I'm paying to feed them,
to allow them to drink, but it's just why. Alright, so fine. My partner's got another 30 people more than me. Well, that's fine. That's 30 less people on my side.
Let's just say there's like 5 people.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
these are 5 people. These are 5 people I care about. These are 5 people that care about us.
Yeah.
And surely that's what a wedding is. It's sharing that day, that experience.
Yeah, I think that. What this I think is more aimed at is a bit like in the film Wedding Ringer with Kevin Hart, where the guy's basically a loser and has no one.
Yeah, but
which I get, but then
have no one. Like if you own it.
And also, if you're getting married to someone who doesn't know that you have no one, then why the fuck are you married?
Yeah, or equally, they know you've got no one, and you turn up with some random fucking guy.
They're going to be like, "What are you doing?"
Make your best son like, who the fuck is
and
this?
And also, I just can't imagine him caring that much about what people think of me.
No, we're very lucky in that regard.
To be at my wedding. All right, the next one is virtual dating assistants.
Oh, now this could be.
So basically, this is a bit like Celebs Go Dating, but
minus the celebrities.
Yeah, you would just go to these people. They would coach you, change your online dating profile, coach you on what to say in the first message, how to keep things going.
Now, see, this is one that I can sort of get behind, because I'll tell you now, dating-wise, and listen up, ladies, because I am a fucking catch. No, I'm like, listen, when we actually like get on dates and stuff, I'm fine, but for some reason there's something about the way I handle an online conversation, because you don't have the right tone.
No,
because you're not doing it face to face and reacting. You're kind of taking a minute or two to decide on whatever.
Yeah.
I've got no problems admitting I'm shit at it. If I ever do get a conversation going, it usually doesn't last long. I usually can't keep it going. And my profile that I've had in the past or whatever, obviously haven't been that appealing because I haven't got that many interest in it.
No.
So I can sort of see, because what I need it seems to be what that's tailored for is, I need someone to get me there. I'm not deceiving anyone. I'm not.
No, but I think that's what the point of this is. I think they will look at your profile and say like you're quite open and honest about yourself on your profile, which I would always encourage personally. I think they would aim you away from that.
Perhaps.
Do you know what I mean? I think they get you to aim at things that, buzzwords and.
But I tell you why, absolutely. I mean, I'd have to be collaborative in that process, and I'd have to say I wouldn't want to put anything that isn't true.
Yeah, I think this is what that's aimed at, though. I think this is aimed at being deceitful.
Because I just need that help to get to the date. Once I'm on the date, I'm fine. I can make it work. I can make
my experience with online dating, and I wasn't like a guru or anything, but I found I got responses by just being genuine. And although I had sort of like my first scripted message, my profile was honest, my pictures were honest.
There was very little difference
between.
I
was honest as a person.
And I think this is where my limited height goes against me. As much as I don't want to play the height card, and I'm being discriminated against card. But there wasn't much difference between our profiles.
No.
At all, other than you're a big chap.
Yeah.
And I'm not. And yet the difference in responses was noticeable, I would say.
Yeah.
But that's a different episode. That's the dating episode.
No, I think it's a commonly known thing. Women are instantly more attracted to someone who's taller rather than shorter, but.
And apparently high heels just doesn't do the trick. Just not sexy.
Depends on the woman, I suppose.
True that.
Or man, if that's your preference.
True that. Are we talking about me though?
Yeah.
It's not.
Could go either way, you know.
You are the exception. And my running group. And my football team. Other than you guys.
And David Beckham.
Yeah, well, we've already discussed who we go pay for.
That has to be mentioned.
There's quite a few. Go on, what else? Can I add one?
Of course you can.
This is brilliant. So anyone who might have seen it on Channel 4, the sperm donor, the sperm delivery on demand, basically, you text this guy where you are, and I'm not making this up, it's the dodgiest thing in the fucking world, because I've seen it. I'm not just talking about a service that I've looked up. He basically drives around the corner from your house, gets in the back of his car, it looks so dodgy, he's got little curtains on the windows, so he pulls the curtains, has a wank in a cup, drops it off on your doorstep, and fucks off. Now, what you do with it is up to you. Some women do use it for beauty, cosmetic reasons.
Yeah.
Some women get a turkey base when I go at a little home, pregnancy. But the idea that you can just pay this guy, and just having seen the service, basically, you're paying for sperm. Now that seems like fine. Okay, I can see why people might do that. But having seen it and seen that it's basically you're paying for a guy to have a wank outside your house. It's a really weird service.
I was fine with it up until you told me he wanks around the corner from my house.
But it keeps it fresh, doesn't it?
There's other ways to do that, fundamentally. I'm not happy that the guy is sitting outside my house tossing himself off. Just fundamentally, I'm not okay with that. So...
Go on, well, let's go through a couple more.
Right. Another one, and this is one I considered using, was professional flat packers. Now... I was shocked. I mean, I actually looked for this because myself and my partner were getting new bedroom furniture, and I can do IKEA ones that just need Allen Key and some instructions. I can work those out. But what annoyed me is we got this a 4-drawer chest of drawers and then a 3-door wardrobe, and the instructions literally went from here are all the parts.
Here's the wardrobe.
And I was like, well, that's no good to me. If it had been literally...
You've got full bake-off signature dish instructions, step 1, make wardrobe.
Yeah. And I was like... So I'm someone that if I have the instructions, I can just slowly plough through it and I can...
And I'm someone that should use instructions more.
So I then looked up how much would it cost to hire someone. And it ranged, but then there was genuinely people on there, and this all made me laugh. One bloke was trying to charge £60 an hour. And he basically could only do IKEA furniture, and it was
which anyone can do it.
I can do IKEA furniture. I don't need you. I need someone who can actually do a wardrobe and a chest of drawers. Now, luckily, we had a neighbour next door who's quite good with that stuff, and ended up doing it for us for 20 quid.
But now this one's interesting, because if you'd have asked me 2 or 3 years ago, I'd have said, well, if you can't put together the furniture, don't buy furniture that needs putting together. But having now been sort of in the kind of furniture removals business to an extent, to a very weak extent, there are some properties where you need flat pack furniture to get the item in and out of a room.
Yeah.
And I understand that not everyone's going to be able to do that. So think of little old Doris down the road, little old Dave down the road, who's 90 years old. Arthritis all over the place. Are they going to be able to build some furniture? Well, no. But you are someone you know.
On a slightly morbid level, though, if I was 90 and I needed new furniture, I'd sort of think, what's the point? I ain't got much longer.
No, absolutely. As I said it, I genuinely thought, I was like,
I'd rather waste my money elsewhere.
Oh, drugs and hookers.
Very likely.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
God,
do you know that comes up way too often on this podcast? Drug hookers and people we go gay for. It's way too much of a recurring theme.
Yeah. Maybe it's something we should look into.
Probably.
Maybe we should do a pod about it.
But I'm going to bring it back round. So, we've looked at some of these services, and are there any more that you wanted to
No, that was the last one.
So we've looked at these services. Now, it raises the question of when's too much, because there's other things you can get, not just products and services, but there's obviously been a big gear towards a big shift towards on-demand TV services, and film services. So when does convenience become too convenient to the point that it actually is damaging? I think a lot of those services we've mentioned are taking away really key life experiences, and also we personally come from a quite a working class background where I couldn't be affording to spend on top of paying for the wardrobe, for example, I couldn't be affording to hire someone to come and put it together. Yeah. God no. I mean, what's some of the other services? I mean, goats are very fanciful and stuff, but fucking hell, how eccentric do you need to be? I mean, there was a bloke in Croydon who used to walk around with goats on a lead, and you pass him when you're on the bus.
Yes! It used to be by the trams.
Yeah, you do a double take. You think that guy was walking.
And he used to take him to this little plot of grass, and he'd sit there on a bench and let his goats eat the grass.
I couldn't be affording that. And like I said, the supermarket stuff, you're buying it, but it's great. It turns up on your door. You don't have to go out, but you sort of get what you're given to a certain extent. You don't get the choice.
See, here's where I'm at with a lot of it. I think, particularly now, and again, it's something we talked about before, both people in a relationship and in families tend to work now.
Yeah.
So there's less and less time.
No.
So like even now, professional chefs, everything they put out, if you look at people like Jamie Oliver, is about convenience. It's about getting things done quickly.
Don't even fucking get me started on those 15-minute meals, because that's absolute horseshit. I know. They're 15-minute meals to cook. They take an hour to prep. Or a load of fucking bullshit.
Yeah. But
Oliver, I've got words for you.
No, you leave my Jamie alone.
Fucking
I like Jamie.
15 minutes.
So I think everything now has to be geared for convenience, because people haven't or aren't willing to spend the little time they do have.
And it comes back to that thing.
On anything.
I think it comes back to I'm saying things that we've discussed in private. People don't know, but it comes back to something we discussed before with expectations, where you look at sports fans as an example, where their sports team has one good season in whatever sport it is, and people are like, well, this is it. This is the norm. Yeah. This should be life. And it's like, and there are exceptions, some people do understand that isn't the norm, but with the convenience thing and the services and the products, I think it's, once one company started to offer it, it was like, well, why can't all of them?
Yeah.
And you think, well, but they shouldn't have to. And that's the competitive
and
market,
it's weird,
that's capitalism.
When I'm ordering something now, if it's going to take more than a day to 2 days,
you don't do it.
I'm probably not going to order it. Like when I was ordering an air conditioner for my partner's bedroom, I looked at different companies and I ended up going with a slightly more expensive one because it could be delivered the next day when I was free. I wasn't interested in it otherwise.
And sometimes the convenient stuff, by you saying that, we buy them and we order these services and stuff. And if it, as you said, if you think you have to book it in a week as time, you go, I don't really want it. In which case you go, oh, you didn't really want it, did you? You didn't really need it. And then that's not always the case, I'm well aware, but I think a lot of the time it's like you only want it because it happens now and you're in the mood for it.
Yeah.
And actually then you think, well, that's a bit of a waste of money then if you didn't really need it. It's like walking around the supermarket hungry. It's like you're getting it because it's there, but you don't really need it, and more importantly, you don't really want it.
No.
You didn't go out of your way and think, do you know what, I'm really craving that experience or that thing. You're just like, oh, I can get that.
Yeah.
That's there. Go on then. Send someone round to do my cleaning and fold my clothes away.
Yeah.
And you're like, you didn't really want or need it. If you'd have waited a day, you'd have probably had the energy to do it yourself.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. I think the convenient thing is ruining us, and I think, let's get to you more of it, you know, the kind of the futuristic setting of WALL-E, the Pixar movie, where they're all big fat fuckers in these little mobility scooter things. I think we're sort of heading for that. Because no one needs to go out or do anything anymore, and we're incapable of doing things for ourselves because we don't need to.
Yeah, I'm more worried about the generations coming forward than ourselves, because there's certain things I just wouldn't pay for someone to do.
I mean, I did a house clearance for a guy not that long ago. He rented his was renting his house to medical students. I presume at St George's. It was sort of over Colliers Wood way.
Yeah.
And he was saying the amount of times that they'd ring up in the middle of the night and say, oh, the light's gone out, and he's like, there's no electricity. He's like, okay, I think it's just the bulb. Have you tried changing the bulb? He's like, oh yeah. How do you change a bulb? And you think, now that's great, because what's going to happen is he's going to walk him through changing a bulb. He's going to do it, and it's never going to be a thing again. Every time a bulb goes out in this guy's life, but that's part of the thing for university. Is some of those experiences is where you learn them. And yeah, it's funny because especially because this particular chap was a surgical student. So it's like, so he's going in training to do these fucking incredible things with his hands, but now he can because the guy showed him.
Yeah.
And it's like, But, if you're in a position where you go, oh, we'll just pay someone to do it, then you're always going to be paying someone to do it. It's sort of that thing of teach a man to fish.
That sort of reminds me of, even something as basic as a ring pull on cans. Someone I know got a text from their daughter saying, Mum, none of these tins in the house have ring pulls on it. How am I supposed to open the can? And I wet myself laughing. And she said she's never used a can. And I said, did she never use a can opener in her life? And she said no. I was like, and then she had to go on the phone with her and try and explain to her how to use a can opener. And I was like, I could not believe it. And I joked and said, does she know how to tie her shoelaces, or does she only use Velcro?
Well, it's to the point where people are hiring people to tie their shoelaces. There's going to be an app for it.
I don't know. Even if I didn't know how to open a can, that I would have it within me to tell someone I don't know how to open a can.
I'd fake it out. I'd change my mind.
I would just figure it out.
Yeah, but and you're well aware that I'm that kind of person.
Yeah.
Much to your frustration in the past, where
fuck me, we can be in the middle of Sunderland and he's like, oh, let's just go this way, and you have no idea where you're going.
No, but I know roughly the direction.
It's just a 5-minute walk. An hour later, we're still not there.
Yeah, I'm not perfect. I never claim to be, other than on my dating profile. But look, it happens. But anyway, look.
Yeah.
I think convenience. I think we've taken it too far.
Yeah.
And I don't see anything that's taken it back the other direction.
No.
I think we're going to have to reach breaking point. And listen, with the way the political system is shaping up and the way that the global warming is shaping up, we might end up in a fucking post-apocalyptic world where we don't have convenience. And we're all going to be fucked because none of us know how to fucking do anything.
Basically what we're going to tell you all to do is start watching Bear Grylls stuff.
Although he lies.
Don't tell me.
No. Do you know what? I'm not going to ruin it. Let's end it there.
Leave Bear Grylls alone.
Tell us on Twitter @Swords Crossing.
What's the craziest thing you've had done
on Instagram? Crossing Swords _podcast. On our Facebook page. Email us crossingswords19@gmail.com. Yeah, tell us what's the weirdest thing that you've ever ordered or paid for convenience.
Yeah.
Keep the conversation going. All the stuff you've heard about, all the stuff you've seen, let us know. Tell us. Like the podcast, share the podcast, rate it if you're on iTunes and Spotify. Rate the podcast.
Yep.
Let us just keep the conversation going, guys. Any ideas, send them our way, and just share it, like it, listen to it, listen to it again.
I'm starting to get to the point where I will offer out hand jobs.
And I'm dangerously in debt, so I'm not going to offer out anything. We're about 3 listeners away. We're about 3 listeners away from my mouth getting a serious fucking workout. So I'm going to kind of slow it right down. Yeah. And bear in mind, this is the time we're recording. We're recording these a couple in arrears, so I may well be very busy for the next podcast. I may well be very, very busy. It could be a couple of weeks before we record one because my jaw is so achy and tired.
I can't speak.
I can't speak.
Alright guys, thank you as always.
Pleasure as always. Bye.
Bye.